Y'all already know I can't just. I just gotta abruptly shut it off because the stupid app doesn't work that way. Man, I'm gonna have to look into
Jim. Yes, it does.
How?
I watched it back last week. You know, when you turn the volume down, it faded out on the recording.
Oh, okay. So there you go. Now I know. I'll do it next week. We've got that one figured out. Hey, everybody, welcome to AEW Dynamite Boomer Bust. Sorry for for that little tidbit, but we're figuring out that intro thing, and now I know that I can just gradually turn the volume down, and it'll be much smoother than just going in half. But welcome back to the show, everybody. It is yours truly, King Jimmy Bebe, and I'm joined as always by the man to the left of me, right of me, the man to the right of me, Nick the Geek. Nick, how the heck you been, and how have you been enjoying wrestling this week, sir?
I'm good, Jim. Not slept a lot, but usual.
Nobody needs it.
Nah, it's fine. But wrestling this week has been fantastic. Raw was classic Raw. NXT was good because Joe Hendry.
Oh my goodness. You believe in Joe Hendry, huh?
I believe in Joe Hendry. I've met Joe Hendry. He is a lovely bloke. Generally, it's been a good week. Like, no complaints. Couple of super predictable matches announced for Rampage.
I haven't seen the card, but go ahead and fill me in on it while I look this stuff up.
Well, you've got Willow Nightingale versus Serena Deeb in the quarterfinals of the Owen Hart and the Statlander, which we'll get to after the result of Chris's match. It's pretty obvious that Willow's winning that one. And then you've got Leo Rush versus Action Andretti for a qualifier for the TNT title match. I wonder who's going to win that.
It's for what?
They're getting the TNT ladder match.
Who do you think's winning that one then?
It's Leo. I already know.
Oh, you've already looked shit up.
No.
Is it going to be live or is it going to be? Is it taped?
It's taped.
Oh, so they taped it after last night. Because I know sometimes they do it with Collision now, and I'm like, that kind of works, but then it's not on Friday night. And I love Rampage being on Friday night. If it's not going to be Saturday morning, Friday night works for me.
Yeah.
But yeah. Leo Rush is winning that one. That's fine. Leo Rush in the ladder match is going to be sick.
Yeah, exactly.
But enough of that chitter chatter. We're going to jump right into Dynamite because, as Nick told me before we went on air, he really enjoyed this week's show. And guess what?
Yes, I did.
I did too. So we're probably just going to be gloating and all that other good stuff. But before we jump into that, we're going to talk about this one thing next week. We're not going to be doing AEW Dynamite Boomer Bust because we will be doing the Forbidden Door prediction show because I haven't done a prediction show in a minute, and that's what we're going to do. I don't know if we're going to do... You know what? I will. I will put my title up on the line. The Positively Awesome AEW Prediction Show champion will put his title on the line against Nick and two other people who shall be named later this week. We'll see who gets to join us. But I'm very confident because when it comes to AEW predictions, I am king. But now we can get to the show. Started off, MJF versus Roosh. No commercials, which is good because you told me in the commercial breaks they just do nonsense and it's stupid.
Yeah.
We didn't get any of that this time. I've seen some people call it even a pay-per-view quality match. I'll let you go first here. How did you like the MJF Maxwell Jacob Friedman versus Roosh match to kick off Dynamite?
Well, it delivered, didn't it? That's the best way to put it. Not a lot of build. They only had 2 weeks. The reason for the feud made no sense whatsoever, which we discussed in the previous episode.
I think they did a good job with what they had, though. I'll give them that.
Sorry, I'm eating sweets.
He's eating
sugar. It's very late.
All right.
Yeah.
I know how to entertain.
No, I really enjoyed the match. I thought Max put in a fantastic showing. No real ring rust on him whatsoever. I really like the fact they made it commercial free because that gave it a certain watchability. It made you want to keep tuning in. Roosh did a fantastic job, as he always did, because he beat the snot out of Max for most of this match.
Yes.
He's so good at being a roughhouser. There's not a lot of them left. Moxley's one, Roosh is one. Guys that just beat the tar off you.
I'll tell you where Roosh separates himself from everyone else when it comes to that. It's right here.
Mm-hmm.
You look at him in the eyes and you believe that he don't like you and he just wants to hurt you.
Yeah.
That's where he, again, separates himself from all the other people who are out there just beating you down. So sorry I interrupted. Just wanted to get that.
No, it's fine, dude. I completely agree. Rush's face is very good at convincing people he's trying to murder screw his opponents. But I really enjoyed the match for what it was. As pointless as it was, but Max had to get a match for his first match back in. Rush did a great job. Max won, obviously. I really like the eye poke spot in the middle. When Rush wanted him to go for the chops, and Max like, nah, bang, because that's very Max or Jacob Friedman.
Yes. He's not going to a chop fest with him.
No. So I thought it did exactly what it needed to do. The only thing that confused me was what happened on the Titans run afterwards.
Okay, so we'll get to that in just a second. I'll say this with the MJF Rush match. God, MJF is so good. Like, we all know he's good, but I think what makes him so good is even though we all know he's so good, he still comes out and does these things that is like he surprises me almost every time I watch him wrestle.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't go into that world title run he had where he's wrestling frequently. I like it when Max is used sparingly.
So do I. Distraction.
I know a lot of people hate that word. I don't care. I like it. I prefer it that way because it just makes his matches mean that much more when they happen.
There's a reason in the 80s Hogan wasn't on every show.
Yeah, and when he loses, it's an even bigger deal. You want to know what sucked about Samoa Joe beating him? It didn't feel like it was that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Just didn't, because I feel like Max had kind of been used more than he should have. Whereas
take it to the woodshed.
Yeah. So but Rush, I've been a fan of Rush since I've seen him, and he did not disappoint. The only thing I didn't I guess it's in hindsight. I didn't mind it in this one, but the chair spot, I feel like it got used. It's getting used quite a bit right now. I mean, it's kind of like, hey guys, one at a time. He brought the chair in, and it's like, I believe it for it makes sense with Rush because they don't like each other based on this little feud they got going. So him pulling out a chair wanting to like crack it over, that makes sense. And because he sells it here, it makes sense. And then when the ref took it from him and then he started using the cables instead, I was like, okay, I've seen him do this before. That makes sense. But then the ref, I don't know, I feel like he was packaging the chair up in a box and putting some peanuts, some padding in there, and then taping the box up, writing the packaging on there, who it's going to, who it's coming from, took it to the post office, came back, and then still saw the cord wrapped around Mac's neck. It was like, what happened? Whatever. That's just me being funny. I'm not nitpicking because it didn't take me away from the match. I enjoyed the match. It was great. And again, I said, why are we doing this match? And now here I am. I enjoyed the match. I get it. I think, and then we'll get more to Rush later because he appeared later in the show. So I feel like it did its job. So I'm doing this as far as the match goes. I loved it. I thought it was great. And hey, when AEW kicks off with a match that's fun like that, you know you're in for a good show.
Commercial free. Max is great. Rush is great. They've got good chemistry. It delivered on all fronts.
Yeah. But then afterwards, as you pointed out, Brian Cage and the Cage of Agony. Oh my goodness!
With their new CMML adjacent member,
Hechicero.
Hechicero.
Okay.
Hechicero.
Hechicero has a cool look. I buy him with that group, but they're like, "Hey, Max, courtesy of the Elite, you're going to be wrestling Hechicero at Forbidden Door." And I know I'm not the only one because Nick right over here to the right of me. I'm going to get it right. Nick over here to the right of me before the show, we're talking about like, yo, that's Max's opponent for Forbidden Door.
Right. Seriously. There's a guy in Japan called Sanada who would have been absolutely perfect for an opponent for Max at Forbidden Door. They're very similar. They have a similar character. Sonata's a phenomenal worker. He's a big name in Japan. He's a former IWGP heavyweight champion. He would have been absolutely perfect to wrestle Max or Jacob Friedman at this pay-per-view. But for some reason, they went with a random guy from CMML who's had 4 matches in AEW. He's lost all 4 matches. I mean, he's a good wrestler. The guy can go.
I'm sure he'll be fine.
Why is he wrestling? But it's the same problem we had with the Rush thing. It's like the match was great, But why did it happen in the first place?
Yeah, this is a pay-per-view match.
Mm.
This is a way to get Max on the card because it's in Long Island. I get it. I do get it, but I don't know. I'm not gonna go there because
there are many other people it could have been. As you say, I'm sure the match will be fine because Max is great. Hetrocera is really good. But as my friend Simon likes to say, make it make sense.
They have next week to make it make. But I was very like weirded out. I was like, what is this? But the match was so good. Again, we're grading it the whole from match to end of the whole segment and all that. That's how we're doing it. I'm still giving it a thumbs up because the match was good.
Oh no.
I'm not going to discredit the match because
get the thumbs up. Weird decision to have him wrestle Hetrocera, but as you say, I'm sure the match will be fine. And maybe Tony's thinking easing Max in before he pushes him back to the top of the card.
And we'll get back to Max too, because Max reappears later in the show.
Indeed.
So next block up is a backstage interview situation where we got Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, and Kyle O'Reilly again, but this week they're joined by Dante Martin, and Mark Briscoe goes off on another one of those crazy promos.
Revenge is the word of the week, as is redemption. There's 2 words of the week. That's right. There's 2.
I vibe with it. I've done the same on the podcast, so I can't even knock them for it. I've literally done the same thing. But and then afterwards, you had Jack Perry make a cameo as he walked by and kind of looked him up and down because Dante Martin has qualified for the TNT ladder match now as well. Mark Briscoe's already in it, so they're involved. So that's why Jack Perry came by, gave him a little look, and then kept walking. Ratings boost because it's the GOAT Jack Perry, the scapegoat Jack Perry, not the goat, the scapegoat Jack Perry. So overall, again, I'm not mad at it because again, I think Mark Briscoe is fun. I'm never gonna hate
Mark Briscoe's hilarious.
I love Orange Cassidy. Kyle O'Reilly was showing some character there with his
it was as we used to call him, Cool Kyle.
My son was the little drip prince was just laughing his butt off. Like he thought it was just he was like, "You see Kyle? Are you looking at Kyle? He's spazzing out." And I'm like, "Yeah." So good segment, and again, it didn't take too much out of the show, and it helped build towards the 8-man all-star match that they have a little bit later on. So I'm not mad at it. This is just getting another thumbs up from me. Feel free to add on to whatever it is you want to add on to and let him know.
Mark Briscoe is hilarious. He stole the whole promo again. They should let him cut one of these promos every week because it just puts a smile on his face. The man is insane. I've never thought Briscoe was particularly the best singles wrestler, but as far as his character goes and being entertaining, second to none.
That's all that matters, man. Entertain me. So you're giving a thumbs up then. Okay. Boom. On to the next block. And this, I guess because it was commercial free, I get why this didn't kick off the show. But man, this might have been how I kicked off the show because you had Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland, your number 1 and number 2 guys in the company, in my opinion, right now. The guys who will be main eventing Forbidden Door for their top title, the grand prize in AEW. Yeah. And they have themselves a face-to-face. And I feel like you're more of a Will Ospreay guy than Swerve, correct?
Yes.
And I'm
yes. But Swerve needs to win this match.
Okay, but I'm more of a Swerve guy as opposed to Will. I've started to become a Will fan ever since his match with Orange Cassidy. I'm still not like, I wouldn't call myself a fan, but I definitely respect what he does and can appreciate him a lot more than I did. So I'm going to ask you, after watching this, the whole thing included, even the little, not even a shot where he got personal with Will and Will got up in his face and all that. Yeah. Who do you think won this little battle of words?
Oh, Swerve. Because Swerve got under Will's collar. He pushed his buttons. He did exactly what he needed to do. Because
let me rephrase the question.
Okay.
You can finish and I'll rephrase the question.
The killer instinct that Swerve keeps referring to in Will Ospreay is not him not using the Tiger Driver. It's the fact that Swerve will break into a man's house and cut a promo on his baby, and then he'll drink your blood. Will won't. And that's what Swerve's trying to get across to him, is that he will do anything to hold on to that title. And is Will Ospreay willing to do everything and sacrifice everything to get it?
So, I'll ask this question. Who do you think had a better segment? Swerve or Will Ospreay?
Will.
Okay. Because I watched that thinking, dang, Will just kind of buried him. I think Will was amazing. And Swerve, I feel like he kind of went, it just felt weird with some of the stuff he was saying. He's like, if I break your arm, who are you? If I do this, I'm still the podcaster. I'm still this. I'm still that's. Like, what? Come on, man. You're calling him out for not having a killer instinct, and you're over here praising yourself because you could still be a podcaster if you had a broken arm. That's kind of a weird way to go. It just didn't fit the whole you don't have a killer mentality kind of thing. And
it didn't fit the narrative perfectly.
And I think Will brings an intensity that is just unmatched in AEW. Like, and
Will Ospreay has a certain amount of realism to him.
Yeah. He knows when to pick it up. So, I'm gonna have to take care of some real quick. I'm gonna let you continue on about this one real quick. I'm gonna go do something. I'll be back in less than
okay, dude. All right. Hi, I'm Nick. To let everybody know, the Will Ospreay Swerve face-off lasted about 5 to 7 minutes. It was really well done. It was really intense. Will got to say "bro" at least 4 times. Got the crowd chanting it. Where it really kicked off was when Swerve mentioned Will's wife and kid, and Will got really irate and personal with it. And for a lot of people, they're like, "Oh, he's pissed Will off. He's not going to do a job." But for me, it was a case of he was doing that deliberately to get under Will's skin, to show him that he can get to him in ways that Will can't get to Swerve. I mean, because they're both family men, but Swerve's family is unheard of. Will's family is in the public eye. It's going to be a banger of a match. The only thing that I have that is a concern is I thought they were going to do this match in the main event at Wembley, which for me makes a lot more sense. It gets a longer build. It's the biggest wrestler in UK presently in Will Ospreay. It's your main guy in Swerve Strickland. Making things make sense is what professional wrestling is supposed to do. And this feud, as good as the match is going to be, and as good as the build is started to be for the week on Sunday, I still feel it's too soon, if you get what I mean. Rather than waiting a couple of months and teasing the face-offs where they go back and forth with each other, they've kind of pushed it to the forefront now. And I wish they'd held it off to All In. Hello.
I am back. Sorry. I had to go take care of that. Am I looking good? Am I streaming fine? Am I
You are absolutely fine, sir.
Okay, good deal. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it the segment thumbs up.
Yeah.
Because again, it did its job. Swerve got in his head at the end and triggered him. He made him get serious. And even though I was kind of like a little iffy on the middle of his promo work, the overall feel of it was really good. I enjoyed it. And again, Will Ospreay, that intensity, man, that helps him so much, because even if he's not saying anything that's like vastly important, if he was delivered like that, I'm like, yo, I better listen, because he'll take my head off. So, man, where'd it go? Boom, right here. So that's another thumbs up. We're doing thumbs up all around for this show.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Like I say, I really enjoyed this week's Dynamite. There was only one thing on it that I wasn't a particular fan of, and we're going to get to that soon.
Ooh, I'm curious, because if I had to just pick it out, I couldn't. Next up, it goes right in. Oh, because in this, okay, well, I'll do a transition here. Don Callis backstage segment. This was very quick, and it came after this segment, a segment in which Will Ospreay flat out told Swerve, I don't need
Don Callis.
Which made Trent upset. Don Callis said there's nothing to worry about there. And then him, Takeshita, and Trent left.
And yeah.
Kyle Fletcher
stood there going.
He's torn. And that's good build. That's like the beginning of something that's about to happen.
It's a lot of seeds planted.
Yes, they're planting seeds, which is good because I think they need to do that so that when the next story happens, it's like, oh, we've already started to it. I've been waiting for this since the Kyle Fletcher moment. Now it's happening. Yeah. Awesome. That's the stuff that gets me invested. So I'm glad that they're doing that here. Outside that, it was just a real quick segment. Again, I don't mind those at all.
It's fine.
It comes up.
Yeah, it was fine. Dom's always good. Trent was good. Kyle was good. Everyone did what they needed to be. It put pieces on the chessboard, and hopefully things will start going where they're going. But that, of course, wasn't the last time we will see Don Callis on Dynamite.
No. Oh, also, from the Swerve Ospreay, it's the line of the night. I'll go ahead and say it. This was the line of the night. Will Ospreay said, while you had a hit row, I had a hit list, and I didn't miss once. Ooh, that's what we call a bar. That's what we call a bar.
Fire is what that was. It was a friggin' awesome line. Got right in his face when he said it as well. The list of names that he lifted off, a lot of people no one will know who they are. The AEW audience know who those people are. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed everything Will's done since he's got to AEW. Yeah. He's really found his feet.
So I'll say this: what I think Will has done is effectively take over Kenny Omega's role in AEW.
Yes.
And it happened at a perfect time because Kenny Omega was out and they kind of needed someone to step up. And Will stepped up, and has shown out every time. He's not missed a single time he's been on TV. So he's essentially the MVP of AEW, in my opinion, right now.
Yeah.
We'll move on to the 8-man All-Star Extravaganza, where we got Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, Dante Martin, and Kyle O'Reilly taking on Konosuke Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, Roderick Strong, and Zack Sabre Jr.
Don't you? No. Not in my presence. You shall not besmirch the greatest technical wrestler alive in my presence, young sir. It's disgraceful.
Before we'll get to the afterbirth of this one afterwards, that's what we're going to call it because it just happens so fucking often on the show. The match itself. Where are you at with it?
The tag klaxon went off really early. Is the best way I could put it. Because there's always a point in these big multi-man matches where the siren goes off, the tag klaxon goes off, and everyone starts hitting their moves and their finishes. They slide in one at a time. They do everything they can. This pretty much happened from the start. The one thing I loved about this match is it was a very New Japan style booking tag match. New Japan do a lot of these 8-man tags before a pay-per-view, where they'll insert several storylines and feuds and matches into one tag match. But during the match, they will keep them all at arm's length from each other. So there's not to give too much away, but it makes you want to see the match at the pay-per-view.
Yes.
And I think the start of this match, where everyone started beating the snot out of each other, except for Zach and Orange took his time taking his jacket, his t-shirt and everything off, was a really, really well done bit. Because it shows that Zach doesn't care what he does. He's going to stand there and wait, then he's going to punch him in the face. And it also shows that Orange doesn't sweat anything about Zack Sabre Jr. and that there is a certain amount of animosity there. So makes me want to watch the match. Did exactly what it was supposed to do.
When they did tangle up for the little bit that they did, Orange was kind of sitting there being like, hey, I can do this shit with you.
Yeah.
He was keeping up with him for a little bit. Obviously, Zach schooled him in the end.
In the match, though, for me, best moment in the match was Kyle O'Reilly versus Zack Sabre Jr. There was a good 2-3 minute segment where they were just exchanging holds and cravats and everything on the mat. And it was so fast and it was so well done. That's my favorite style of wrestling, as you know. It was so well done. I mean, Zach's brilliant. I don't need to sing his praises here. You aren't the biggest fan, but you'll get there. You will get there.
Just talking about the guy. Just so we're clear.
Blasphemy.
I know Zack Sabre Jr. is a phenomenal wrestler. I'm not clowning on that at all. To me, I'm a character guy, and I've not seen anything from Zack Sabre Jr. that makes me like him. And I hear about him so much, and I'm just like, y'all have your fun. He's like Dean Malenko in WCW.
No, because he's got personality. You've just never seen any.
I haven't seen it again, and this is based on what I've seen. That's like whenever I give my opinion, it's not based on. It's not based on any. Hold on. When I give my opinion on things, it's based on what I've seen. So, like when I say Okada was overrated, it's not that he's overrated, but based on my perception of him, from what I've seen of him, he's overrated. That opinion has changed. We'll get to a little bit of that later on. But but Zack Sabre Jr., from what I've seen of him and the hype I've heard about him, I'm like, I don't get it. I know he's phenomenal. I get it, and I know other people don't do wrestling the same way as I do.
Wouldn't you agree that the match would have been behooved by them doing what they did for Stephanie McCall a couple of weeks ago and putting a promo package together for Zack Sabre Jr.?
Now, Zack Sabre Jr. should be there because his thing is that he's a phenomenal. The fan base knows him. He's been there before.
He's been there, but there is a certain casual fan base that in the last couple of weeks after you'd announced the match, you could have run a promo package. Not necessarily focused on Zack, but focused on the match itself. So you have highlights of Orange, you have highlights of Zack. They both got
promos. Is there any history to them, though?
They have wrestled once before for the international title while Zack was New Japan TV champion and Orange squeaked by.
Was that last year's Forbidden Door?
Correct.
Okay. I was trying to remember who Orange wrestled last year because I was wanting Will 2 this year, but we aren't getting it. I wanted Will Ospreay. The second match with Will Ospreay because I'm like, I love that. And they went the exact opposite. They're like, we're going to give you Zack Sabre Jr. instead. And I'm like,
well, that's the thing. Will and Zack are the two pillars of British wrestling, but they're the two opposite pillars of British wrestling.
Yes.
It's the high flyer versus the ground game.
Dean Malenko.
Their matches against each other are incredible, by the way.
I'll tell you what. When I have some free time, I'm gonna look up some Zack Sabre Junior promo interview stuff like. I'll look into some of this personality that you keep talking about. So I'll stop being so hard on the guy.
Zack, obviously, we know you watch this show. I'm sorry, he's uncultured. He's American. He doesn't understand.
I like Dom. That explains everything, man. I love Dominic Mysterio and Chelsea Green. Those are my two favorite in the world right now.
I love Chelsea.
That should tell you everything you need to know about my preferences in wrestling.
This is true. This is true.
But so with the match, I enjoyed the match. Again, it's much like what they did last week. It was just more of the just throw shit together
Control
and
chaos.
Yes. AEW does it wonderful. As long as they don't do the anarchy in the arena stuff. Keep it in the ring and at ringside. Mm-hmm. It's awesome. I love it. It's fantastic. Yeah. I'm good with it. After the match, though. And Takeshita's in it. Anything Takeshista's involved with, I'm there, baby. Because Takeshita,
he hit some brutal knees and some big forearm.
He's the best forearm in the business.
Yeah.
After the match, though, we have Jack Perry attacking Dante Martin. You have Takeshita and Briscoe fighting each other. Those are 4 members of the TNC ladder match. So that's Brawl. I feel like that's a next week spot. But we'll see what they have for us next week. I don't know. So we'll see what happens. And then while this is all happening, Orange Cassidy and Zack Sabre Jr. just kind of have like a little face-to-face in the ring. They don't touch each other. Good. They shouldn't have. Let it brew. Let us wait. Let it marinate. And then Zack Sabre Jr. walked off. He was a little upset about the outcome of the match because Orange Cassidy pinned Roderick Strong. But this was after Zack Sabre Jr. did his little bridge like he's a genie or something.
European clutch.
There you go.
It's a European clutch.
I'm assuming when he does that, it's usually game over. I don't know. The way he reacted was kind of like that he wasn't happy about it, and it had to be broken up. So, overall, match stuff afterwards, I'll give it a thumbs up because I was entertained by the match, and the stuff afterwards wasn't too much.
No, it was a complete clusterfuck, Jim. Let's be honest. But
I'm fine with it. Hey, we are WCW fans.
Oh, I love
clusterfucks are our business, baby.
Yeah, that's what we do. I loved it, and so is Tony Khan, which is why they're on AEW so much. No, I loved it. It was controlled chaos. It was. They should do these all-star tags before every pay-per-view.
Yeah,
because it's a great way to introduce new fans to these wrestlers. It's a great way to keep current fans happy. And it's a great way to extend the feud without having them touch. While
also planting seeds for future feuds after this one that's coming up is over with. You have 2 teammates, just something happens, and then that starts the feud that comes out. it's a great thing to use when you use it effectively and you don't overdo it, which is what they were doing there for a while. So it kind of lost some of its luster, and they stopped doing them for a little bit to kind of, I guess, get rid of that, the fact that they overdid it. And now it's back to doing it, and I'm fine with it. I like it. I'm cool with it. Let's not have them for a few weeks after Forbidden Door, though. Let's stay away and then bring it back when it's needed. After that, we got a Mercedes Moné video package where she went after running her mouth about Stephanie Vaquer.
Right. Now then,
I have a feeling this is the part you don't like. So I'm going to let you go first again.
This might be the part I didn't like. Now, Mercedes Moné, regardless what anybody wants to think, is one of the biggest stars in professional wrestling. Not just women's wrestling, professional wrestling. She's a huge name in the wrestling business. She's been in fucking Star Wars. She's done all sorts of everything else, red carpets, whatever. Stephanie Vaquer is a tremendous worker and a fantastic wrestler from a much smaller company with much less name recognition. And this spot would have been much better suited for running a Stephanie Vaquer promo package rather than a Mercedes Moné promo package. Less is more with Mercedes, not necessarily just a Stephanie promo, but this should have been a combined promo package of both of them training. They should not have just been focusing on Mercedes. She doesn't need that kind of press. She's already that big a deal.
I'm going to go ahead and disagree with you. Man, okay. I'm defending Mercedes Moné here. You know something's wrong. Just joking. I'm rooting for her. Why I think it's okay is for the past 2 weeks, we've gotten a Stephanie Vaquer video package, and Mercedes Moné had matches. So Mercedes Moné has shown what she does in the ring, while Stephanie Vaquer has had the moments. They've made the videos to kind of say, this is who she is. This is what she's about. This is what she's capable of. This is what she wants to do. While Mercedes Moné really hasn't had the opportunity to kind of say her piece in it. And if she's not going to be wrestling this week, which, again, if she was wrestling, I would have been like, no, stop this. There's too many women on that roster right now that are killing it. And Mercedes shouldn't be taking up 2 segments. But they didn't do that. She didn't wrestle. She just did the video thing. She got her words in. She got her piece in. I would like a face-to-face next week. I don't know if it's possible, but I definitely would like a face-to-face next week. And I liked it. I think it was a little long, but that's nitpicking, and that's not what we're here to do. I liked it because
no. Here's the thing.
Based on weeks prior.
It was a good video package. It was a well put together video package. I just don't think Mercedes needed it. Just me, personal opinion.
If it wasn't talking about the Stephanie Vaquer match, I'd agree with you 1,000%. But since it was to help build that up, I'm okay with it because I want them to be showing effort in the women's division, and this kind of was them doing that. They're like, hey, just because she's not here doesn't mean we're going to shy away from the fact that we have this really big, important match coming up at Forbidden Door with one of our biggest stars. Let us, in case you didn't remember, or in case this is your first time tuning in, I don't know, here's this woman that y'all recognize from another company, or maybe you recognize her from her 5 minutes in the Star Wars show, and there you go. So I'm okay with it. I'm giving a thumbs up because, again, based on the weeks prior, she didn't get a chance to speak. This was her week to speak. So it makes sense to me. I'm giving a thumbs up. He's going sideways. I knew you'd do that, but it's not a thumbs down. So this is all good. Next up, Roosh backstage real quick. Just touch on this real quick. He's frustrated. He slams his head into the wall. He's mad. And then in comes Don Callis. And I assuming he sent an invitation to join the Don Callis.
What he said in Spanish was, come to my house. I have an opportunity for you.
There you go. So he invited us to the Don Callis family. We're giving a thumbs up here based on, do you want Roosh in the Don Callis family?
Yes, okay. I do. Okay. God damn right I do. The 12 apostles need to be filled.
We're not doing 12, bro.
Yes, but the picture has 12 apostles, so yes, we are. Tony Khan is that kind of stupid. Roosh is perfect for the Don Callis family.
Tony catching strays, man.
Tony is that kind of stupid. He's perfect for the Don Callis family. He's aggressive. He's violent. He's got no remorse whatsoever. He's exactly what Don is looking for in a member of the Don Callis family. Violent men who do violent things for violent reasons. He fits like a glove. I think it's a brilliant move. It's great for Roosh because even though he's gone off to speak English, he still can't cut the best promo. Don can. I think it's a great move. I think it's a great move. Really, yes, please, 100%.
I'd give it a thumbs up too. I think Roosh and the family is gonna be good. I just want him to kick out Fletcher.
Well, I think we're going to get we're going to get the United Empire in AEW once Doug Zilla's back, Fletcher's tag team partner.
Davis.
Yeah. Mark Davis.
Yeah. I'm waiting for it because I love Aussie Open. Incredible tag team.
Yeah, that's great.
Incredible.
I've been watching Aussie Open in warehouses since they were 17 years old. So to see how far Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis have come, it's sad as it is as a fan, but I'm proud of them. Like, I'm proud to see how far they've gone.
When you watch people grow, that's a thing. There's a tag team I watched locally here. I think they're good enough to make it one day, and if they ever do, I'm gonna be like right there doing this. Yeah. Probably have a little tear. Like, this is awesome. I watch these guys from this go, so I get it. There's nothing wrong with that. Moving on to the next part of the show, the Young Bucks versus the Acclaimed.
Okay.
Before the match happened,
there were two I didn't like.
What's that?
There were two things on the show I didn't like.
Oh my goodness. So Max is making his way out to the ring. All of a sudden his mic is cut off. We go to Okada. He's in the back and he's going, cut. Oh, so sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I pushed the wrong button. Oh no. Bitch. I'm done. I'm done. I love
so
Okada.
Funny. So funny.
I don't care if everyone wants to be like, oh, it's getting shut up. Just shut up, bitch. It's hilarious because
it's really
when Okada got brought in, everyone's like, why are they making him a heel? Oh, I see it now. Hey, good job, Tony. You saw something. You did something about it.
Here's the thing. Okada started as a heel.
I don't know this.
Okada, the Rainmaker, when he first came into New Japan under Gato's watch, was a heel. He was a heel champion that went up. He was a heel challenger that went up against the super baby face of Hiroshi Tanahashi.
As a heel, was he like a ruthless heel or was he like this?
No, he was a cocky prick.
Okay, that works then. Okay. No. Why is everyone making it seem like that was like a brilliant move to make him heel then?
It's not. It's literally Tony Khan's watched Gato's booking from 2016 and gone,
hey, I'm fine with it. I'm not clowning on it. I did see a lot of people praising it.
I love Okada. I love Okada.
Telling me it's already happened.
I love Okada as a heel. And I love him as a heel because I watched his initial run in New Japan as a heel. It's what got him his first world championship. What got him his first 3 world championships as Okada was a heel. Okay. So,
well, I love it. I love this version of him. I don't need to see him wrestle every week. I don't care if he's the new best bout. I don't care about that stuff. Give me things that make me best in you. And then when I
disliked.
I know you didn't like. But with Okada, my thing is, again, I was just literally saying how I thought he was overrated based on what I'd seen. Because all I'd seen him do is get in the ring and wrestle. And again, I think a lot of people are capable of going in the ring and just wrestling.
Like we said the other week, the last thing you want to be is a match guy.
Yeah. You don't want to do that. Hey, Chris Kaney was a match guy and nothing.
Didn't do him any good.
Nothing. So now, even if it's something as silly as him just calling people bitches, it's funny to me. And I'm like, okay, I'm with this guy. Then we get to the match. Young Bucks versus the Acclaimed. Little shocked here because the Acclaimed won in this eliminator match.
Here's the thing. That sentence right there. Eliminator match. The stupidest concept in history of professional wrestling. Let's make the guys who are going to be number 1 contenders wrestle the champions to see if they can get a shot to wrestle the champions.
I think there's a term for this. 50-50 booking.
Yes.
I hear a lot of people say it. So, you know.
But it's dumb. Like. I'm really glad the Acclaimed won because they have earned a shot at the tag team titles. They have worked. Those boys have needed it. They really needed it. But the one thing I disliked about this match, besides the fact that it was a bloody eliminator match instead of just being a number 1 contenders match with the Acclaimed versus another team to see if they got a shot at the Bucks, which makes a lot more sense.
Hey, how about the dudes from Cage of Agony since, you know, they're working actively?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Or like I don't know. Mind you, Christian's going for the trios belts, isn't he? So, but
Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus, or Kill Switch. I'm sorry,
like whatever you want to call them, that'll work perfectly. But the one thing that irked me a bit about this match was how much offense the Bucks got, because they basically spent 15 minutes beating the living piss out of Anthony Bowens, while Max Caster constantly got launched to the outside for the Acclaimed to squeak a win at the end because of Bucks overconfidence.
Which
I get, but there wasn't enough fighting. It was too much underneath.
And to be fair, Anthony Bowens was injured, and they focused on the injury. These are things that I don't remember seeing that much out of AEW in the past, so I'm glad they're utilizing it.
No, I'm glad they're doing it, but for me, just personal, I would have had the Acclaimed have a bit more of a chance, because it literally made them look like they can't beat the Bucks unless they get lucky, and that's not good.
So I just took it as it made them look gritty. They shouldn't have won this match, but they found a way, and they needed it. The Acclaimed has needed a big win for a long time, and they got it. And hey, props to the Bucks, man, because again, I've given them crap in the past for not doing good business. To me, this was good business, especially
if better business if they actually lose the belts.
No, they should not be losing the belts anytime soon.
They're not going to.
Sir.
But I would be fine. No, I would be fine if Acclaim took the belts off them at the pay-per-view and then lost them immediately on Dynamite.
Nah.
Because A, it builds up sympathy for the Acclaim because they get screwed. And it helps the Bucks' ego, and they can now claim to be 4-time champs.
I don't want to see that. We're not doing things just to do them. That's a certain redacted style of booking. So I'm curious then, what's your rating here? Because you're
it's a middle.
You're doing another middle, man. I'm gonna go thumbs up, man. This is crazy.
I can't say it was a bad match because it wasn't. I just didn't like the premise.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We both agree that the Acclaim needed a big win though there.
Oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I'm super happy for Max and Anthony that they won the match. It's brilliant.
Just real quick on this next one, because this is probably the part of the show that I feel it could have been just left off and I'd have been fine with it. Hook and Samoa Joe are still going after the Premier Athletes for some reason, even though they squashed them.
I got a question for you.
And then they went into the room. They weren't there, and they said, "We challenge you to a 3-way." And then they're like, "Yeah." So I guess that's happening on Rampage?
I think so. No, Collision.
Oh, okay. Collision. So Collision, Hook, Joe, and Shibata taking on the Premier Athletes and Mark Sterling?
No, not Mark Sterling.
I thought they said...
That's the question I have for you. Who's the third Premier Athlete?
I have no idea. They stopped the other guy?
I don't think so.
I don't remember what his name was.
The Eminem looking dude.
He had the mouthpiece because he's from MMA.
Yeah, no. Wait a minute.
Josh Woods.
Josh Woods. That's who it'll be.
I did like Josh Woods. He's a good.
Like Josh Woods.
He's a good job guy.
Good worker.
Yeah, there you go. But I don't know if he's still there. I don't know. So I couldn't tell you. I was under the assumption that Mark Sterling was going to be wrestling because I know he wrestles.
I don't think it's Mark Sterling. If
we'll
it is, hilarious, because Mark Sterling is a very funny man.
So I'm going ahead, and I'm going to say this because it wasn't terrible or anything. I just feel like it didn't need to be there. But
yeah, they could have left it off the show.
Got two sides on that one. Man, we got to start pumping through some of these. Tony Storm, Mina Shirakawa contract signing with Mariah May in the middle. Interesting tidbit here, though, was as Mariah May was speaking at one point, Mina says, "Mariah, shut up." And then she went in on Tony Storm. Mina Shirakawa, to me, I think Mina Shirakawa was better than Tony Storm was last night.
She was.
Oh, okay, so I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy.
No. And I think that was intentional.
Hey, props
because
if
Tony,
that's the case.
Because Tony is distraught because her angel has found another woman to worship. And Tony is concerned that her angel is going to leave her for this other woman if she doesn't maintain the championship. You could tell by the look on Tony's face that she was concerned the entire time Mina was speaking, but she was angry at the same time. Tony Storm's got really good facials.
Oh, yeah.
But Mina, considering Mina has only been speaking English for a year and a half.
She's doing a fantastic job.
She's done a fantastic job. She's a great wrestler. Like, she is this lovely little kawaii flipping Japanese girl. And then you put her in the ring and she beats the snot out of people.
Something I've talked about in the past with like other shows and everything is when talent is able to maximize their time, no matter how little or how much it is, and make me invested. Chelsea Green. This is why I'm a huge Chelsea Green fan, because it don't matter if she's on TV for 5 seconds or 5 minutes or 20. Doesn't matter.
Chelsea Green is a master of maximizing her minutes.
She's going to get my attention, and I'm going to be invested, and I want to see her on the show. Mina Shirakawa has done that with her TV time in AEW. That's how good I think she's been. I'm super impressed. And now I'm of the sense that, like, if I am sitting at the house and I see there's a Stardom show, she's from Stardom, yes? Okay, there's a Stardom show on.
He's the current Stardom Mega Flower something or other champion.
If I see something promoted, I'm like, oh, I don't have anything going on when that. I'm going to tune it in to see what she's doing now, because she's won me over. I think she's been fantastic. Even her little video package, everything she's done has been flawless. And for the first time, she's outshined Toni Storm. And if it's by design, that makes sense. I'm cool with it. But again, I think this is the match I'm most excited about for Forbidden Door.
It is. It's the match I'm most excited about for Forbidden Door, because Toni Storm's the best thing in AEW and has been for several months. Mina has been an absolute breath of fresh air. One thing which we've got to get to, which we'll touch on, we might as well run to it now. What did you think about Anna Jay joining the Outcasts?
Here's the thing. On Rampage, I don't know how often you watch Rampage, but a few months ago, Saraya and Harley were like, and Zach Knight were like the storyline going on. And at one point, they were with, and Anna Jay was with them. So that's not something that's out of nowhere. They were doing that on Rampage a while ago.
Oh, okay.
And he just brought her back with her. I don't know what Anna Jay's been doing in the meantime, but I think she was on Ring of Honor doing some stuff. But so they just brought her back to be with them. And Saraya coming again. I'm one of the few people who's enjoyed Saraya in AEW. I think
Harley done fantastic work.
Harley Cameron is amazing at, again,
Harley Cameron has come on a fantastic way.
Yes. And her wrestling has gotten better. Yes. And then Anna Jay. Been a fan of Anna Jay since she got there. She's another one of those ones you've watched improve over the time since she's been there. She's the original too, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
And I think her first match was in AEW. So she's someone we've really watched grown into what she is now, and that's awesome. So now next week we have a 6-way, our 3-on-3 women's match with those.
Mina, Mariah, and Tony versus Paige.
Good deal.
MJ and Harley Cameron. I think it'll be brilliant. It's obviously going to end when Mina and Tony can't get on.
Heads.
Mariah caught in the middle. Everything explodes.
Mariah gets pinned.
Advantage, and they get yeah.
Which is great, because that gives Saraya and Harley and Anna Jay a huge win on Dynamite.
So I do have a question for you. Who's she going with?
We'll get to that next week on Forbidden Door. I want to watch one more episode of Dynamite.
Okay.
But in case y'all don't know, Forbidden Door prediction show, that's what we're doing next week instead of the Boom or Bust, because
it's gonna be fun.
Forbidden Door's on, and I want to talk about it. So clearly this is all the thumbs. I had the little button. I duplicate my thumbs, and the whole screen.
Look, that many thumbs. So many thumbs are going blurry.
The women's division continues to be the best thing in AEW
by far.
And then we go from that. We get a Claudio video, talk about his match with Pac. Where are we at?
Right. I love Pac. Claudio, as you know, is the most boring wrestler on God's green earth.
We're talking about Claudio.
5 languages. He speaks 5 languages. No. I said I love Pac.
Okay.
Claudio. But Claudio is the most boring wrestler on God's green earth. He speaks 5 languages, and he's boring in all of them.
We're not going to this shit again.
Yes,
you're down. You're with this on the video package. Then you don't want to hear him talk. Man, we got our first thumbs down. Thanks, Nick. It's because of Claudio. I'm doing this.
Claudio.
I didn't mind it. I like to see them give these guys the opportunity. I'll put it that way. Hey, Claudio, they say you can't do it. We're gonna give you the opportunity to do it.
No.
Do it.
Here's the thing.
It wasn't bad.
I'll always enjoy his matches. He's a great wrestler.
Yeah.
He's just boring.
He's a match
He's got
guy.
no personality.
He's a match
He's
guy.
a match guy.
You don't want to be a match guy.
No.
We established that earlier.
No. He's a match guy.
Zack Sabre
He'll always be
Jr.
a match guy. Not a match guy. Zack Sabre Jr. is a star.
Okay, now, man, we're gonna come back to this. This is gonna be the end of the show. It's the Owen Hart tournament. That's why I wore the Owen Hart shirt tonight. We're gonna come back to the Owen Hart tournament though. So we'll skip to Nyla.
Because I think I know what the final is.
Good. We'll chit chat about it a little bit. We got Nyla Rose versus Chris Statlander in
the most predictable match in the last 8 months of AEW.
Oh, don't give me that. There's a predictable match every single week, bro.
Has not been on television since 2023. 2023, October 2023.
On TV. Okay. Hold on. She hasn't been on Dynamite.
No, TV.
I'm going to look this up. I think you're wrong.
She hasn't been on TV since October 2023. That is her first TV match. No collisions, no rampages, no.
Those are on TV.
No, I said no collisions, no rampages.
Oh,
no
okay. I'm about to say, hold up, bro. That's TV.
No. She hasn't had a TV match since 2023. Statlander is in the middle of a big feud with Willow Nightingale. There was no way in hell that Nyla Rose was winning this match. A snowball bouncing through Hades had more chance of winning than Nyla Rose did of winning this match.
10th. No, is that October 4th?
October 4th.
October 4th against Hikaru Shida. Oh, it's a tag team match at that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's why, again, I won't say the most unpredictable because I feel like there's a predictable match like that every single week on the show. Why I don't think it was that predictable is because I could have easily seen Willow Nightingale make an appearance here and cost Statlander the match because I don't think we see did we see the brackets before or after? We saw them before.
We saw the brackets before.
Okay. There was a small chance there that Willow comes down and costs Statlander the match to knock her out of the tournament, so that you have a feud that's going on that doesn't need the tournament because the tournament could be its own thing, and then you could have like another female. They have more female things going on than they ever have before. They could have extended it by keeping them out of the Owen Hart tournament past the first round. That's why I was like, Nyla Rose could get an upset here, and it was close to her hometown. And I know Tony loves to give these guys. I know you're saying no. I'm giving you my reason why I thought.
No. I get you.
Was winning. Yes.
I get you, Jim. You're just wrong.
I get Statlander was winning 1,000%. But you can't tell me that match was more predictable than Samoa Joe versus the Premier Athletes last week.
Yes.
You can't tell me that because that's
no, because the Premier Athletes could have got a Schmaltz finish. This could.
No. Willow could have cost Statlander.
Why would Willow cost Statlander? She wants to beat the piss out of her.
She wants to screw her and Stokely over at the same
because
time
she's already said she wants to beat the snot out of her. She doesn't want to screw her. She wants to beat her up.
She don't want to screw her. She wants to beat. She don't want to screw her over. Well, come on, this is a PG show here, sir. I'm just saying. I think that's more realistic than the Premier Athletes beating Hook and Samoa Joe. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
That's crazy that you disagree with that one. I'll put it that way. I think that is a little bit crazy. But what are we doing for the match? Because I thought the match was great.
Match was good.
Okay,
match was really good. Great finish. Right. I love the finish with the tombstone out of the corner. Hello. We have a visitor.
Yes. Show me that kitty.
Come here, big fella.
I've like kind of grown to like Nyla Rose over the year too. So I was happy to see her on there. I was just happy to see it. I thought that, and like you said, the tombstone finish was awesome because she literally snatched her, walked her over, and dropped her, and it was the finish. Someone got finished by a tombstone.
Yeah, in 2024.
Thank you. I love it so much. So, next up, Renee's with Private Party, and then Private Party gets interrupted by the Learning Tree.
Hey guys,
ain't even mad. Hey guys, real good job last week. But this is what I'm gonna tell you. And then the whole luchador thing, going back to his CM. Man, Chris,
saying the names of wrestling moves to them in Spanish, then turning to the camera and saying them in English to translate to the people at home because we're all idiots. Comedy genius. The man is gold. All right. All of you morons that turned around 6 weeks ago and said, "Oh, Chris Jericho's lost his mind. This is a terrible gimmick." Let the brother cook. And
I
this
was
is
one
what
of
you
them.
get.
I was one of them. I'm not even gonna lie, but man, I love him now. I think I was upset that it wasn't more. I was like, that's all the Chris Jericho we're getting. And what's crazy is my son loved him. Now he hates him. He hates him. He goes, get him off the TV. And I'm like, no, put him on the TV. It's fantastic.
More of it every single week.
But
it's good for Private Party.
Oh, for sure.
I think the tag match is going to be fun on Rampage. Jericho and Big Bill obviously winning.
Is it Jericho or is it
Jericho?
It's not Bad Apple.
Unfortunately, it's Jericho. I wanted
Bad Apple and the Redwood.
Yeah, I wanted it to be the Bad Apple and the Redwood, but unfortunately, it's the Learning Tree and the Redwood.
Redwood Apple. That's a tag team name for them right there. Tag team champion.
Applewoods. No, that's a type of cheese.
Yeah, that's not. Applewood is bacon. Applewood bacon.
It's also a type of cheese. Smoked applewood.
I'm gonna look it up. I like cheese. So where we at? Hey guys, this one got 2 thumbs up because we really enjoyed it and we want to see more of it. Thanks. After that, we go to another Daniel Garcia squash match, and then afterward, I'm just gonna go through the whole thing because I'm kind of weirded out that we got another Daniel Garcia squash match.
Mm-hmm.
But then afterwards, Brian Cage and the Cages of Agony or whatever they want to call themselves attacked Daniel Garcia, which then led. Oh, and Daddy Magic. His nipples were not hard tonight.
No, not at all.
And then MJF makes the save, and he did the little flip, and he goes, hey, double up. It's awesome. I'm so glad MJF's back on TV. And then he started getting beat up, and then Will Ospreay made the save, and then at the end of it, while Daniel Garcia's dreaming of dancing, MJF and Will Ospreay bump into each other, turn around, and we get the face-off of all face-offs that you said last week you think's the bigger match than Swerve and Will. And now that I've seen the face-off, I'm like, yeah, clearly I was just speaking out of pocket, whatever. That was awesome.
It was incredible. Awesome. Like, I love that the movie scene of when the two guys bump into each other back to back, then spin around and go face to face. It works every single time. It's a great way to gauge fan interest. It's a great way to gauge fan reaction. It's a great way to gauge how people will accept this or if they want this. And from that face-to-face, it was clearly obvious that that entire audience wants that match. And from by the looks of it, those two men want that match. But I did really like...
Sorry.
Oh, it threw me off now.
Got him.
Yeah, completely. Not really threw me off.
So what this did to me, this kind of solidified who's winning at Forbidden Door now. Because I think the match at All In is MJF and Will Ospreay. My only issue with that is, hey, that has the main event. So does Swerve start the show? Because that would suck. That makes Swerve not look like the guy when he just main evented with Ospreay and then Ospreay loses and then main events the next pay-per-view. That's my only issue with seeing Max.
However,
kick it off.
Considering there is going to be another pay-per-view in between now and All In, yes or no?
I'll look it up. I don't think so.
Do they have a Battle of the Belts or anything like that planned?
They're not going to put Ospreay and MJF on a Battle of the Belts.
No, I'm not suggesting they're going to put Ospreay and MJF in Battle of the Belts. I'm suggesting they're going to put Ospreay Swerve 2 on Battle of the Belts.
Oh my God, don't do that. Stop it, dude.
You can say stop it, dude, all you want, but the one thing Tony Khan had to promise Will Ospreay to get him into that company, because it wasn't that just money, was Wembley.
Yeah, but I mean, he doesn't have to do it this year.
No, he doesn't have to do it this year, but he had to promise him Wembley. If he wants Will in the main event at Wembley this year, I think Swerve's going to drop the belt to Will in about a month and a half.
So
in about a month.
It says right here, Forbidden Door is June 30th. And then All In is August 25th. So that's only 26 days. And there's no like
get 16 days into that run, have a rematch with Will on Dynamite. Will takes the title. It's a WCW move
because there's no Battle of the Belts. There's no nothing in between there. And I think
on Dynamite
they canceled the usual Arthur Ashe show because I think that's where Forbidden Door is at.
Yes.
So they don't even have that one this year. So yeah, that's my only issue with the whole face-off is, man, that really kind of puts things.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. Segment, though, was amazing. I could care less about the match. Sorry, Daniel Garcia. You get no love.
No. It was a 30-second completely missable match, but the whole shebang was brilliantly done.
Okay, so from there, backstage, Brian Cage, with his third appearance of the night, goes after Will Ospreay.
Get used on TV. You're lying.
He goes after Will Ospreay. They get separated, and then he says, "Put the belts on the line this Saturday on Collision. We're getting Will Ospreay versus Brian Cage for the international title on AEW Collision this Saturday." So, what do you think about that whole thing? And I'm telling you right now, I forgot about this, and it's getting the thumbs down.
I've seen Will and Cage wrestle before. The match will be fine. But unless this is a way to take the belt off Ospreay through shenanigans before Forbidden Door, so there's a bit of doubt or whatever, which I don't think they're going to do, I don't see the point in this.
This is what I wanted to ask you. Okay, this has nothing to do with the thing because I really just don't care about the Brian Cage Will Ospreay shit.
Okay.
What do you think the chances are of a Will Ospreay, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, Daniel Garcia triple threat match at All In instead?
Oh, for the international title.
Yes. And that's how you get the title off of Will Ospreay without giving away Max and Will Ospreay.
Without him losing. And I suppose
it gives Daniel Garcia
have Ospreay do what Max did last year and run double duty. Max opened the show and closed it last year.
Yeah, let's not do that. That's part of what hurt him. That's part of what hurt what we loved about Max. But it puts Daniel Garcia in an amazing spot too. So it's like this is a great idea. I think it's a great idea. But then again, I know everyone go, you're gonna give Will Ospreay that at Wembley? Shut up.
That's a perfectly good match. That's Will versus the biggest star the company's ever produced,
and a guy
young and up and coming that he's got a lot of respect for. That's a damn good match. It's a good position to be in on the card because it'd probably be third to last. It'd be a banger.
Yeah, I'd kick that show. I'd actually kick that match off with the show. So I think triple threat matches starting shows when they hit. Oh man, it's just
always really good. Always really good.
So where are you at with the whole segment? Where are you at?
Oh, you mean the Cage Will Ospreay
Brian Cage shit? Yeah, he did it.
I don't care about Brian Cage.
Now, your favorite wrestler in the world, Claudio, takes on Pekka in the first Owen Hart tournament match for the men's side.
And I'd like to point out the right man won.
For sure. After he called himself a bitch last week, he had to win this week. He had to win. And Claudio, there's something going on with Claudio. Brian afterwards was like, hey, it happens to everybody. And Claudio just blew him off and left. So there's something happening there, something developing there. I'm cool with that. That's awesome because if it leads to Bryan Danielson versus Claudio, dude, I want to see it. I do want to see it.
If we could get some character development out of Claudio as well, that'd be top notch.
Turn him into a Terminator and have him just rip Bryan Danielson to shreds.
That works.
Him do the swing by just holding his beard, bro.
One leg.
Something vicious
just by one leg. Swing around by one leg.
Something. But if we get something, even if it's just a Dynamite match, I don't care. I think they'd have a great match.
Owen Hart. We saw the brackets.
Yes. Okay, well, before we get there, what do you give the match? Because I thought it was an okay match. Okay, good. I'll give it a thumbs up. I'm not going to hate on it.
Give it a thumbs up. Good match.
Because I do like the fact that we got to see Packer Pac actually pin someone for a change. I don't see that very often.
Not get pinned. That was awesome.
Thank you. So we'll now go to the Owen Hart tournaments that we skipped earlier because we're going to go ahead and give our thoughts on who we think is going to win these.
I think I know the final.
Before we do the men's, we'll do the women's first because there's a double question in the men's. Willow Nightingale, Serena Deeb. We already saw Chris Statlander beat Nyla Rose. Mariah May and Saraya, and then Deonna Purrazzo and Hikaru Shida are your 4 matches. Again, we already saw that Chris Statlander is in the semifinals. So we all think that Willow Nightingale will be in the semifinals as well, for sure. Deonna Purrazzo or Hikaru Shida?
Shida.
Ooh, I'm going to go Deonna Purrazzo here. And then Mariah May and Saraya.
Mariah.
Okay, Mariah as well. Because there's unfinished business between Deonna and Mariah because Mariah didn't beat Deonna. So
that's a good point.
So from there, who do you see winning?
Oh, Mariah May.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
So then she has to beat Deonna Purrazzo in the set. That's where my thought process was there. Yeah, I'm with you. Who does she beat? Does she beat Statlander or Willow?
Stop.
Ooh. Clean?
Yeah. As a whistle.
Dang. Nick's a Mariah May fan here, just like me. I like that.
That girl is a great worker. She's very underrated.
Yeah. She's the Swerve Strickland of the AEW Women's Division to me. She will be what Swerve was for the men. That's what I think about Mariah May.
Yeah.
I was right about Swerve when I said that shit the day he got signed. So go ahead and take this to the bank. ExtremelyCredible.com. You know that's for fact. Now we'll go to the men's. We have Claudio Castagnoli versus Pac, which we already saw that Pac beat him, so he's already in the semis. Bryan Danielson versus Shingo Takagi. Who you got?
The Dragon Wall. It's going to be amazing. Bryan.
Okay, so we'll get Danielson versus Pac. That'll be a fun match. And then we got, come on, get out of the way. Who's Jay White facing? There's a graphic right in the Ray Phoenix versus Jay White. Get out of here.
Jay White.
Jay White's winning that. And then Jeff Jarrett versus a wild card. This is where we get the first question. Who is the wild card?
First things first. I'm super happy Jeff Jarrett's in this tournament.
He should be.
Because he's Owen's former freaking tag team partner. Yeah. He's the only person on that roster that knew Owen personally. He should be in this tournament. But as far as the wild card goes, see, at first I was thinking Matt Cardona, but then I remembered he's still injured.
Yeah, and he's doing a fine job as the commissioner.
GM of GCW. It's a fantastic job. So I'm honestly drawing a blank on who it's going to be.
Really?
Yeah. I was trying to think of somebody, and
I saw someone say Ricky Starks.
Ooh.
He won it last year, so having him back in it would kind of be cool.
Yeah, that'd be good. But why bring Ricky back on TV just to have him lose a tournament?
He wouldn't lose to Jeff, but he would lose the tournament. And why? But Ricky Starks was the popular one I saw. Strangely enough, the one I think it is, I only saw
Darby.
I didn't see that many people saying it. Because what do you get when you win the Owen Hart tournament?
Title shot.
Who is the champion?
Swerve.
Who has unfinished business with Swerve?
Keith Lee. Oh, Hangman.
Adam Page. And it's about time for him to show up.
That does make a lot of sense.
And honestly, who can we look at on the roster if they beat Jay White, we're not going to be upset about it?
But here's the thing. I think the final is Pac versus Jay White.
Okay, but
because they had been building the match.
But if Hangman Adam Page is the wild card, does that change your mind?
Yes. Because it's obvious that the Elite, in the storyline, the Elite have put him in there to get a title shot.
Even though they will act like they're against it. But in the end...
Yes, up until the final hours, they will act like they want nothing to do with him until he's just about to get the job done and Brandon Cutler runs out and somebody else runs out and somebody else runs out.
They will help Hangman beat Swerve. And that's when we'll find out that they're together.
Yes.
At All In.
Probably.
That's a fantastic way to end your show.
Yeah.
You heard that right, folks. Jimmy Bebe, infamous Young Bucks, Jack Perry, and Hangman on Page, hater of the year. I'm like Drew McIntyre on CM Punk with these guys. And I'm telling you, if they did that for the ending of All In, That's fantastic stuff.
It's great storytelling. And that's what matters in wrestling.
I want Hangman Adam Page to get a second run as champion because his first one was ruined.
Awful.
They had nothing. He had nothing to sink his teeth into. If he's part of this elite gimmick, his
first run was him as a match guy.
Yeah.
And as we've discussed, that is not a good thing.
Nope. So there's no reason, if he's as good as everyone says he is, there's no reason he should fail with this gimmick behind him as the champion. And that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see out of him. So with that, I just hit a bunch of buttons. I don't know what happened. I'm so sorry. So the Owen Hart tournament. Do you like the brackets?
Yes.
Okay.
Stacked.
Then you're getting two more thumbs up for them. Correct. So while I do the tally, go ahead and let everyone know what it is they need to know about you and where they got to find you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Geek. You can find me with my two friends, Andy and Simon, over on the Wrestling Legion YouTube channel. We do podcasts, we do fantasy booking, we do watch-alongs. This Sunday, you can find me at 6 p.m. UK time with my good friends, the Captain and Matty Laws, doing our newest episode of NXT TakeOver the Table. We are doing TakeOver Toronto this week. It's going to be loads of fun. So Joe versus Nakamura, Mickey James versus Oscar, and the Revival versus DIY Part 2. It's loads of fun. It takes about 2 hours to do the show. It's just three guys sitting back watching some old wrestling, talking about it, and you get to watch it along with us. Other than that, yeah, that's everything I've got coming up. And obviously, you can find me here on the Drip Kings channel every Thursday night for Boom or Bust. Up till next week when we will be doing predictions.
That's where you can find them at. Also over on X or Twitter, all that stuff. In case you want to go ahead and try your luck with his Wrestling With Your Thoughts.
Jim, that handle's wrong.
What is it?
It needs to have a capital W and no K.
Okay, I'll fix that. The capital W won't matter.
I'll
fix it while I'm fixing it, though. If I'm fixing it, I'll fix that for you as well. But with that, I did the tally. We got 3 thumbs downs. We got 5 so-sos. And we had 26 thumbs up. I think that is the record so far. So next week, no AEW Dynamite Boom or Bust. We will be doing the Forbidden Door prediction show because there is a lot of bangers. It's Sheamus's favorite pay-per-view because it literally is banger after banger after banger after banger. Incoming 1000%. It's going to be fun. Just hopefully not too freaking long.
Well, there's 9 matches now, which means
we're
going to add at least another 3, and hopefully they'll be on the pre-show.
Yeah, I'll just skip the pre-show. But I'll tell you all to go again, watch Slam Sessions. We were talking about Matt Cardona there for a minute, and we have our own Matt Cardona on the King channel. His name is Albert, and he has an amazing toy room, and he updates y'all regularly.
He is the Matt Cardona of wrestling YouTube.
So go check that out for sure, as always. And with that, I will say thank you for watching. We'll be back next week, as I said, with the Forbidden Door predictions. I'm sure we'll have a little bit to talk about with Dynamite. And yeah, that's all I got right now. So, toodles. Dynamite was awesome.
Peace.